A week ago, I had a barbecue at my new apartment. I've always wanted to host something when I got my own place. I've always loved family parties. I grilled burgers and made pasta salad, fries and a cake. Everyone had a good time and said they enjoyed the food, but after dinner my uncle asked me what cheese was on the burgers since he thought it tasted weird. I said it was vegan cheese and that everything I made was vegan, and he blew up at me, my grandparents following suit. They left after. I cried when everyone scolded me. My sister stayed and helped me clean, making me feel better. Everyone already knew I'm vegan. I have been since I was a teen. My parents were reluctant but ultimately let me buy and cook vegan dishes. My extended family never left me alone about it at get-togethers like Christmas and Thanksgiving. I had to bring my own food because they weren't willing to accommodate me, which I was okay with since it was fine to bring my own stuff. I was there for family, not food. A year ago, when I went to my grandparents' house, my grandpa said he was making burgers, but that he got me some vegan burgers. But after I took a bite and told him it was great, he told me it was actually meat and that I was silly for acting like I don't like meat. He also said that I was defying God for not eating meat since God put the animals on the earth for people to eat, and that I could go to heck for it. I cried in the bathroom until my parents forced me to come out and apologize to everyone for ruining everyone's time. I never meant to make them feel the same way I felt when they fed me meat without my knowledge, but I assumed they knew everything would be vegan since I've been vegan for many years now, and it's never been a secret that all the food I buy is vegan. They won't talk to me anymore since I forced them to be vegan without their consent, even though I never forced anyone into anything and they all enjoyed what I made. I'm at a loss, and my sister said they're not letting me go to Thanksgiving over this. I apologized, but they didn't seem to care or accept it. They said they don't want to see me until I eat meat again, and I'm mortified. Am I the idiot for serving vegan food at the barbecue I hosted? Edit, no one in my family has allergies, so I didn't think I needed to share the ingredients with everyone. Jesus, you served them a vegan meal, not rat poison. And what did they expect you to serve, knowing that you were vegan? Provided you were conscious of people's allergies, which I assume you were, Jesus, your family needs to grow up. Not the idiot. No way, no how. And I'm an omnivore. Also, the uncle was the only person who noticed enough of a difference to ask. And it was the cheese, not the meat. Most of OP's family is not worth the time it takes to bow and scrape every time their snowflake feelings get hurt over eating a few more vegetables. Or, God forbid, someone else eating more vegetables. What a bunch of idiots. Seriously, you're not equipped to host family get-togethers is nonsense. Everything went fine until people started to throw a fit because they didn't understand that eating vegan at a vegan's house is a given. Your grandfather is the worst here. He gave you meat as a trick before and laughed about it. He gave you something you purposely don't eat. How was that okay? And did you have to apologize for that too? Your family just thinks that they're too perfect. Do not fall into this hole. You also have to love the reverse. OP made vegan food and no one had any issues until they learned it wasn't meat. OP, feeding people one vegan meal is not forcing them to be vegan without their consent, and quite frankly is one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard. They may be family, but they're just clowns if they can't accept you. The Bible also says you shouldn't judge anyone unless you're free of sin. The way your family is treating you is awful. I'm a 37-year-old female who's married and a mom of 3, a preteen male, a toddler female, and an infant female. I'm an attorney and I've always worked hard and taken my career seriously. I never thought I'd want to take time away from work, but before I had my youngest daughter, I was feeling burnt out from working non-stop and also taking care of 2 young children. I was always tired when I was with my kids and hardly had any time to spend with them during the week. My husband and I spoke about it and agreed it would be the best thing for our family for me to take some time off work. I don't see myself doing this for more than a few years, and I plan on going back to work once my youngest starts kindergarten. I feel incredibly fortunate that I have the financial ability to spend extra time with my kids when they're so little. I know I won't get this time with them back and that I'll have the rest of my life to focus on my career. Everyone has been supportive of this decision, except for my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is also an attorney, and she's incredibly driven and well known in our city. I know she was very happy I ended up with her son, and I think it's in large part because she respects women who are ambitious and passionate about their careers. I've heard her talk negatively about stay-at-home moms over the years. Specifically, she thinks they're boring, putting themselves in a position to be taken advantage of and setting poor examples for their daughters. She also thinks men who want to be with stay-at-home moms are insecure and just want someone they can control. So obviously she didn't seem pleased when we told her about my plan to take some time off work, but she's kept her mouth shut for the most part. Things changed last night when we had her and my father-in-law over for dinner. I cooked and my mother-in-law joked that she never thought she'd live to see the day when I prepared a home-cooked meal. I said I have a bit more time on my hands now and I actually enjoy it. She said she's glad I'm putting my law school education to good use. I asked what she meant and my mother-in-law said she didn't understand my new phase. She said I spent so much time and money getting my education and it seemed like a waste to be home cooking instead of taking advantage of my skills. She also said I seem unhappy and thinks it's because I'm home all day instead of developing myself. I told my mother-in-law I was incredibly happy and she said I was lying to myself and not setting the best example possible for my little girls. She says it's important to show them they can work hard and also be great mothers. She even said I'm teaching them it's okay to depend on a man and waste their potential. She then said that her mom was brilliant and never had the opportunity to have a career because of the era she was born into, and it makes her sad to see me throw away a life that her mother and so many other women would have killed for. My husband jumped in and said I'm not dependent on him since I have a great education and resume and I can return to work any time. He also said that I've been working 70 to 80 hours per week since I was 26 and there's nothing wrong with me taking some time off to be with our kids when they're young. My mother-in-law then asked my husband if he put me up to this and said she raised him better than that. My mother-in-law said I'm too talented and smart to be home and she hardly recognizes the ambitious and passionate 20-year-old that she first met. I started crying and told my mother-in-law that I felt good about my decision and didn't appreciate her giving me unsolicited advice. I said that I love my career, but my kids are the most important thing to me and I want to be a more involved mom than I was before. My mother-in-law asked why I couldn't work and be involved with them, and I said it's just harder, and I felt I was missing out on their lives before. She asked me if I think women who work are missing out on their kids' lives, and I said women who work as much as I did certainly miss out on part of their lives and don't have as much time to be with their kids. My mother-in-law said that she didn't miss out on her son's life, and I asked how many of his soccer games she went to. My husband was a college soccer player, and he's told me in the past that his parents never went to his games when he was little and that he always had to carpool with teammates. He has also told me that his mom is a great adult mom since she's interested in his life and gives great advice, but she wasn't as interested in him when he was a young kid. My comments set my mother-in-law off, and she said I was disrespecting women who've paved the way for me to have a career. My mother-in-law and father-in-law left shortly after. My husband is obviously upset about the situation. He thinks his mom was way out of line, but he also doesn't like that I brought up that she never went to his soccer games. He said I stooped to her level and also that it wasn't my place to comment on his childhood. My husband feels horrible about the situation and has apologized for his mom's judgmental comments, but desperately wants us to work it out. He wants us to sit down for coffee and apologize to each other, but I'm not ready. Am I the idiot for my comments, and do I owe my mother-in-law an apology? Unsolicited advice is always criticism. Good on you for standing up for yourself during this onslaught. Your husband should be ashamed for not having your back immediately. You have absolutely nothing to apologize for, but your mother-in-law certainly does. She knew she was meddling, condescending, and poking the wasp nest. Did she really expect that you'd keep your mouth shut? She can try to shame you but can't take it when you highlight her inadequacies. I'd be tempted to go low contact for now if possible. No one needs that toxicity in their life. The problem for us women is that what we do is never right. If you're a working parent, you're a failure to your kids, according to some. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you're a failure for not being independent and doing what so many people fought for us to do years ago, according to some. If you're a single mom, you're a failure because you choose to have kids with a deadbeat, abuser, or selfish man, according to some. If you stay with a man who is one or all of the above, you're a failure to not protect your kids. The sad thing is that 90% of this comes from other women in positions different from ours. We women are our own worst critics, and it's sad, really. We shouldn't be tearing each other apart for the choices we make that are best for us and/or our families. Over a year ago, my wife lost her grandpa to dementia. Her grandparents had been married for 60 years, and understandably, anxiety and nervousness about being alone can torment a person, especially in their time of grief. To help out her grandmother, my father-in-law renovated the basement and made it into a studio apartment, so to speak. In the time frame of the renovation, family members would stay a night away from their own loved ones and spend it with Grandma to ease anxiety and loneliness. My wife and I talked with her grandma about how moving in would go and that yes, we would still spend time with her during the weekend for our weekly dinner and time on the weekend, but we are a young couple and we like spending time together. There are hobbies we have that we want to do, and we aren't moving in to be upstairs with her 24/7. We're there to ease her anxiety about nighttime. 3 months into the renovation, a family friend moved in as he was on the split from his partner. He spent the majority of time in the living room watching TV with her when he wasn't working. Recently, he's gotten back on his feet and has moved into his own place. This is where the problems have started. Since he moved out, we've had to pick up his upstairs time. My wife reminded her grandma of our agreement upon moving in, 2 nights a week of visiting and dinner upstairs. Lately, her grandma has become extremely passive-aggressive towards me and my wife about our hobby and that it's an extreme waste of time. Now her grandma is saying she's going to her lawyer and is going to sell the house so she can go back to her hometown 2 hours away from where she is now and live in a retirement home because we don't spend enough time with her. We aren't the only relatives around. My wife is one of 4 siblings who all visit her once a week, and her dad spends 3 nights a week. My father-in-law has a sibling who lives in the same town as us and visits once a month, if that. The other 2 brothers live out of state and have proven that they don't care about their mother. We pay her grandma rent every month, and whether we order out or cook dinner, we ask if she would like something or leave a helping of it in her fridge for her to eat later. Are me and my wife the idiots for not spending more time upstairs and causing her grandma to sell her house? You are the idiot. You're living in her house and all you can spare are 2 nights out of the week to have dinner with her. I get that you need some time to yourselves, but to actually sit down with her and say we will only give you 2 evenings out of our precious time, and we even throw some takeout her way, makes my heart hurt for her. It's no wonder she'd rather sell her house and live in a retirement home. Yeah, like, do these people not eat dinner every night? You can't sit and eat dinner with the woman. Also, I'm curious what kind of hobby OP is referring to. Is he downstairs playing video games, smoking pot all night? It seems suspicious not to mention the hobby by name. Right, what kind of hobby is this? I bet video games. Living in the same house and only seeing the person twice a week is weird. I don't even know how you can do that without sneaking around. Also, what kind of hobbies are you not even disclosing? She can sell her house because it's her house. You have no say in it, so just go and search for a place of your own. I'd be weirded out if someone lived in my basement and I only see them twice a week, making me more anxious than before. So my sister, a teen female, has been obsessed with capybaras for months, like watching edits on TikTok full on, using capybara reaction memes and even buying merch. Last week she told me, 24 male, that what she really wants for her birthday is a capybara, a real one. At first I thought she was joking, but no, she'd done research, aka googled it for an hour, and insisted she could totally take care of one. She even said, it's low-key easier than having a dog and they're so aesthetic. She swears she'll make it go viral on TikTok and become the capybara owner. I told her no. First, we live in the suburbs. Where are we putting a giant semi-aquatic rodent? In the pool? Second, I'm the one who would end up dealing with it because my parents aren't really pet people. Third, I feel she's only into it because it's trendy, and the second TikTok moves on, she'll lose interest. She got super mad and said I'm a gatekeeper of joy and accused me of not supporting her dreams. She even mentioned how I got her an iPad last year, so why not a capybara this year? Our parents are now saying I'm being too harsh and should just let her live a little, but I think this is an expensive and impractical disaster waiting to happen. Am I the idiot for saying no? LMAO, honestly, this is funny. Not the idiot, and tell your parents they can get her one and it would be part of their responsibility. I like capybara too, but to have one as a pet? No thanks. Where does one even obtain a capybara? I read somewhere they cost around $1,000 to $3,000 and she's thinking of using it to become viral on TikTok. That's a dream with a percentage of failing very high. Give her candy for her birthday and call it a day. I think she might be a little spoiled. Little spoiled? LOL, you think? It's the classic, I want a pony, but on steroids. Plus, what happens when the capybara gets sick? Where's the closest vet that's able to treat one? What are the costs of that? Also, the girl wanting only one just proves she really didn't do her research. They need friends. They'll be depressed otherwise. They need a good place to live too. Our parents now saying I'm being too harsh and should just let her live a little. So why aren't your parents giving her this aesthetic pet? Your parents sound like they're a few sandwiches short of a picnic. The viral part on TikTok tells me she doesn't really care about the capybara as a pet. It is an accessory for her to go viral and get likes. That alone tells you all you need to know about getting her one. Disgusting and vile in and of itself.